It's been a long road to the finals of this year's PBA World Championship. Over 250 players started the journey, but now, 1 month later, only 4 remain for the final eliminator battle. Among them, a pair of international two-handers, Australia's Jason Belmonte and Finland's Osku Palermo. Will this be the first time in history that a two-hander takes home a major title? Find out next. Today from the South Point Casino and Exhibition Hall, ESPN presents the 53rd edition of the PBA World Championship, the first major of the season. It began with the field of 204. The past few weeks, it's been reduced to the final 4 we have today. Seeking his first major, 24-year vet, Ryan Schaefer.
This is his 13th major telecast. 4 times he's been a runner-up.
From Espoo, Finland, your number 5 seed, Osku Palermo.
He won his first career title at last year's World Series of Bowling. Can he grab his first major title with 2 hands today?
The man who dropped the 21st televised 300 game in PBA history, Belmo, Jason Belmonte.
Coming off of a perfect game from last week, Belmo looking to ride a perfect wave to a victory and a major title.
And your number 1 seed, haunting his 2nd career major title, Sean Rash.
He won that major back in 2007, and he hasn't won since. Today, he looks to right the ship.
And one of those cheering Sean on, that young man, his pal Dan McCarty, who Sean became friends with recently through the Best Buddies program. Dan suffers from a very rare bone disease, but today, he's not thinking about that. He's here with the best seat in the house, hoping to see Sean win a championship. And here's a look at your rules. The eliminator format. We'll see all 4 compete at once. Low man out. Match number 2, the remaining 3 meet again. Low man once again out. The remaining 2 will bowl for the title. And we're glad you're with us. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, Chris Barnes. And we are about to get underway here from Las Vegas. The first major of the season, the PBA World Championship. Jason Belmonte will start us off. Belmo, your number 3 overall seed coming into the 4 division play. No 300 game for him right now as he leaves the 4-pin. What a moment that was last Sunday, watching Jason drop a 300 game under the lights. The week before that, Sean Rash almost did it as well. 10-pin.
10-pin.
First time ever this elimination format has been used in a major. Sean Rash.
I never trailed.
He led by almost 300 pins. He got to choose the oil pattern.
And that oil pattern, the Scorpion. There's Ryan Schaefer. Knows all about being a bridesmaid at a major. His 53rd career TV finals appearance. Still without a major title. Only has 4 to his credit. There's a sentimental favorite. It is clearly Ryan Schaefer.
Without question.
And our second two-handed bowler, Osku Palermo. So you got Rash, Belmo, and Palermo. The oil is going to take a beating today.
Chris, how do you see that working out for Ryan Schaefer? Rob just hit the nail on the head. 3 guys that absolutely torture an oil pattern.
The voodoo roll we put to the test for sure in this one, because he is definitely going to get trapped in the middle of all that rock.
Whoa, skinny jeans fit just right. And as we've said, today's oil pattern is the Scorpion, which, by the way, is just one of the oil patterns you can bowl on in a PBA Experience League. Check with your local bowling center. Rash as the highest seed selected. It did not like this offering. He'll take the Brooklyn, but that's not the way he wants to drop all 10.
Suppose, though, you could rationalize that one as it makes up for the ring 10 in the first frame.
As you like to say, Chris, things have a way of evening themselves out.
Sometimes
Belmo.
the only thing that keeps you sane.
Belmo 9 spare in the first. So he goes trouble, and it's a strike. Rash is worried, and he drops the Brooklyn.
That's not good news for any of those guys.
Well, we know the success that Sean Rash had on the Scorpion oil pattern just a couple of weeks ago. You hit on it. Front 9, almost 300 game. He had a great battle with going head-to-head with Pete Weber that game. Weber had the front 8. Let's not forget this man right here, because he actually won on the very same pattern.
45-year-old drops all 10.
Tom Smallwood picked the pattern. Ryan Schaefer won on it.
Ryan Schaefer, the number 15 overall seed. Only 16 made the TV shows to try and get here, so Schaefer kind of snuck his way in there and just kept on driving and grinding, and here he is in the midst of the Final Four.
Remember, low score out. Other 3 will advance to the next game.
2 of our finalists today, Randy, Jason Belmonte and Osku Palermo. And here's Jason on the first time he met Osku.
When I first met him, it was one of the first questions is, hey, how come you bowl like me? And he asked the same question. And we live in 2 completely different countries, Finland and Australia, and we have very similar stories. He started at a very early age. I think he was 2 years old when he first threw his ball for the exact same reasons. He couldn't pick it up with one hand, and his parents didn't change him. Sometimes we joke and we say we're brothers from a different mother, different father.
Osku in the third, still seeking a strike, leaves double wood. He is off to a slow start here, but that also happened in the Carter division of this championship, which he ended up winning to get here to the finals. Hardwick division winner Ryan Schaefer was second in the 08 PBA World Championship. Another one of those runner-up finishes for him. Spare, strike, strike.
Schaefer's got to be one of the most underestimated players in the history of the PBA.
All 4 finalists clean through the opening 3 frames. The top 3 tied. Osku down 13. Top 3 move on. We'll find out who they are when we return to Vegas. The PBA World Championship is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. By DV8, we are DV8. Tonight, we bowl. And by the USBC and its 2 million members. To find out more about USBC, log on to bowl.com today. Recently, the sport of professional bowling lost one of its true icons. PBA founding member and Hall of Famer Don Carter passed away earlier this month at his home in South Florida at the age of 85. Carter dominated bowling like no other in the late 50s and early 60s. Really bowling's first superstar, winning 6 major championships, including 4 BPAA All-Stars, which was the forerunner to the U.S. Open. And he also won the inaugural edition of what is now known as the PBA World Championship. Carter was the first athlete to ever sign $1 million endorsement deal, and that was way back in 1964. He was also featured in this memorable Miller Lite commercial from the late 70s.
Bowlers love light just as much as football players. That's right. And we also love the easy opening can. You sure
Our deepest condolences to Don's wife, Paula, and his family. Professional bowling has lost one of its best ever, a true pioneer and a champion, Don Carter. Match 1 of the 2012 PBA World Championship continues here in Vegas. Top 3 all tied up. While we were gone, strikes for everyone in the 4th except for Osku Palermo. He is yet to strike today. Here's Sean Rash. 4 in a row for Team Rash. Yeah, big ham bone there here in match 1. That's right, Dad is singing to ham bone. That's right.
Gotta love Gene.
Good man, Gene Rash. Good man, Gene Rash.
Oh,
This
Jason.
for 4 as well. Off target.
Come on, mates.
2-5.
Just a little fast, but quite honestly, not horrible, only leaving the 2-5. A little bit right as well. Chris, what do you think about the way Osku Palermo is attacking this pair?
His troubles really seem to be on this right lane. He threw a pretty good shot last time that went by the head pin. He tried to shut his angles down there, and that one goes high. He's going to have to make a change on the right lane for sure.
Oh, boy. Open frame from Belmo on the left. Osku steps up to the right, still without a strike, but the big news there, the 300-man Belmo with an air ball.
As you can see here, Schaefer still has this left lane tighter. He's playing further to the right, goes through the front. It actually ends up his break point is further left. The red line is the right lane. He can get it. He can stand further left, get it further right, and still get it to the pocket.
And it's Rob's favorite time. It's a ham bone fest at our first major of the season.
Hard to win without a ham bone. Belmo open frame in the 5th. Here he is in the 6th.
Light on the hooking lane.
Chris, I believe you said last week in the opening match that Jason Belmonte was involved in that if you're going to beat Jason in this type of format, you need to do it right now in the first match and get him out of the way.
I think the first match on these longer patterns is the only chance that you get, because once there's friction on the lane, his rev rate supersedes everybody else within carry percentage.
Our thanks to Ryan Growney, the Vice President and General Manager here at South Point. Always enjoy our time here. This is the 2nd consecutive year that the PBA World Series of Bowling has been held at this venue. Our thanks to Ryan and his crew.
I think Palermo and Belmonte are going to move left here pretty quickly.
Typically during qualifying, do you see Jason and Osku get off to slower starts than, say, the traditional players?
Just a little bit, but only on the longer patterns. On these shorter patterns, there's enough friction right off the bat that they can make the ball hook and use their speed to advantage to create area that nobody else has. On the longer ones, their speed's so high it actually works against them just a little bit.
Schaefer, your leader right now. Here's his effort in the 6th, looking to drop the nickel.
Get up.
Messenger will not connect with the 10.
Really good shot. I like the way Schaefer's playing him. Nice and controlled, keeping the ball in front of him.
Finally, a strike for Osku as Schaefer steps up on the right. And reflect back a couple weeks ago when you interviewed Ryan when he advanced to this show, he got a little emotional on you about the chance to finally get that elusive major.
Well, he got a huge break just to get past Andres Gomez. And Andres Gomez opened in the 10th frame. And boy, you could just see the emotion spilling out of Ryan. He finally felt like, hey, I got something that went my way for a change. Major finally mean to you at this point in your career?
I can retire in peace. I'm 45. It's getting kind of late. I know Mike Scroggins won one pretty old, and he's my inspiration for that.
Thanks, Ryan.
And you can see right there just how badly Ryan Schaefer wants to win today. Here's Belmo in the 7th. Strike number 4 for Belmo. Jason takes a seat, and the guy who's kind of become his rival, Sean Rash, will step up next as we take a look at the leaderboard. Schaefer, Rash tied. Belmo 23 back. Osku trailing Belmo by 11. Rash leaves the 9-pin. A lot was made about the whole Rash-Belmonte incident last summer. Rash becoming enraged when he thought Belmo purposely crackled a water bottle during his throw. It got heated, maybe even a little ugly, and there were certainly some uncomfortable moments for the last half of 2011. You see the thaw has somewhat begun. I wouldn't say we're in spring quite yet here. Not a whole lot of communication between the two of them, but it is getting better.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go out to dinner together anytime soon, but I think they're cordial now, and they put a lot of it behind them, which is good to see.
And here are Rash and Belmo on how they view each other today.
The one thing that I think is really important and needs to be, I think, shared is that Sean and I have a very deep rivalry, competitively. You know, I know that he's one guy that when I'm doing well, he's kind of, you know, peeking over there and seeing how I'm doing, and I'm definitely the same.
I think since we're both young and we're going to be out here for a while, it's going to be a rivalry. We're both going to make a lot of shows over our career. We're both going to win a lot of titles, hopefully. Hopefully I win more than him, but, you know, that's something I can't control. You know, we all are very, very good at what we do, and you got to respect that.
Those two sitting next to each other. Not a bottled water, but a cup of water there. And Osku on the right lane, looking for his first double.
And this will put him to within 1 of Jason Belmonte.
Double for Palermo.
After an unremarkable first 5 frames, 1 double, and we're basically all even.
Rash trailing Schaefer by 1. His effort in the 8th, right through the nose.
Remember, Sean picked this Scorpion oil pattern by virtue of leading the 40-game qualifier by almost 300 pins. He obviously picked the Scorpion for a reason. And remember what he did on it just a couple of weeks ago.
Way right. Way right the whole way.
He's in trouble.
Really trying to force it to play straight right now, and it looks like he's just over.
Overamping it?
Just overamping it, trying to make it stay there. His last couple shots in practice, he'd moved left. I thought he was going to start there. He may jump there pretty quick now. Tough time to do it, though, in the 9th and 10th frame.
Excellent cover.
Leave that one out there.
Textbook cover. Walks away from that one. Osku looking for 3 in a row.
Shot hydroplaned.
Yeah, I agree. This left lane has been hooking earlier and tighter down lane throughout the World Championships. And that one just looked like it got up on top of it at the 40-foot mark. It's rare to see his ball not hook.
Match high 6th strike for Schaefer.
And I think Schaefer's managed his game better than the other 3 players to this point by far.
If you're in the Schaefer camp right now, guys, who's the one guy you'd like to see get out right now?
I think Belmonte. I thought in last week's show he looked as comfortable as I've ever seen look in a show. Looked like he put some of the things behind him, some of the pressures that have built up on him. He's not the guy I want to keep seeing throw shots left to me for the next 2 games.
I totally agree, especially coming off of what he did last week. Like you said, he's just way too comfortable. Get rid of him if you can.
Schaefer and Rash fairly safe. Belmo and Osku in the dogfight here in the 9th.
And there it is. There it is again. Chris has alluded to this fact of how tight down the lane the left lane is here. And it seems like if you get just a little bit too fast, the ball gets on top of the old pattern and never recovers.
Messenger.
Oh, wow.
The backside didn't knock on the door. Nobody answered.
You know, and for most of us, that's just a flat 10. But these guys throw that head pin back at it so much. It really has to feel like a bad break when it doesn't hit it.
Osku, if you're the 10 pin, be afraid. Be very afraid. Big effort from Belmo here. Needs to cover the double wood.
One pin separates those two.
Schaefer will step up to close out the 9th, and the 10th will determine who's going to move on here.
A strike here, and Schaefer will punch his ticket. Really good shot there.
Hasn't thrown a bad one the whole game.
No. He's playing the lanes perfectly. He's managing his game. He's making great shots.
You don't want to peak too early, though, in this eliminator format. You want to do enough to get by and have your confidence. You need to save your best stuff for the end. Thing's just exploding around the 7 pin, but it won't drop. Schaefer wasn't pretty on the approach. Gets what he needed, though. Belmo after the 7. Little hip check.
Boy, that was just a violent, solid 7 that Jason Belmonte left. He could have struck out there and closed the door on Osku. Rash moving on. That was a big strike there because that's his fill shot, and what that does is it forces Palermo to have to strike first ball in the 10th frame. Anything less, Palermo's out, Belmonte's in. If Palermo goes strike spare, they will tie.
Rash already confirmed for match number 2. He goes backstage. Probably going to bring out another test ball.
Equipment hunting.
That's right. Schaefer. This is his first effort in the 10th. He too has moved on already.
Another great shot, another ring and 10 for Schaefer, but he's safely moving on. Left lane is the issue, it looks like, Chris, and you hit it at the start. Again, you see the balls not wanting to make that move down lane because of the left lane being tighter. How do you get around that?
Well, all the players right now have chosen to start with their feet a little further right and get closer to it. The other option is to get softer with your speed. But this is not a group of players that really likes to throw it slower.
Schaefer.
Schaefer's the one guy with enough touch to go back and forth and do it. The other 3 guys hit it harder.
All right, here's Osku Palermo on the left side. This a must-strike situation for him. There's your strike. If he gets a spare, it'll be a tie. Get a strike, and he'll be moving on. Schaefer's final effort of match 1. So he's done with the 236. Belmo will sit and wait and watch his fate. Must drop the 10 pin for a tie.
Wow.
This is just an absolute pure shot here. He likes it the whole way. And you can see the ball starting to make that move towards the 1-3, and then it just kind of flattens out. Massive ring and 10 for Osku. He has to make this.
Love to see the heart rate of these two guys right now. Whoa! Not much room for error there. And we are tied up at 203, and we will have the first one-ball roll-off between two-handers in PBA history. Osku Palermo and Jason Belmonte coming up here at the PBA World Championship Finals. Welcome back to the PBA World Championship Finals. Just a few moments ago, this strike by Jason Belmonte on his fill ball in the 10th meant that Osku Palermo had to strike out to advance. He got the first one, but number 2 comes up short. Osku leaves the 10 pin, which he barely converted. And that meant a tie with Jason Belmonte, scores of 203 apiece. So now it's time for the sudden death roll-off.
Ladies and gentlemen, by PBA rule, this tie must be broken by one-ball sudden death roll-off. The higher seed, in this case Jason Belmonte, will have choice of starting lane and order. If the bowlers are tied after that first shot, they'll move to the other lane in the same order, and they will alternate back and forth until the tie is broken. Jason Belmonte is elected to start on the right lane. He will go first. Good luck, gentlemen.
What do you think about that strategy, Chris Barnes?
I thought he would go to the left lane, to be honest.
Why?
He's missed the head pin a couple of times on this right lane. I don't think it's Jason's best lane.
Oh boy.
6 count.
Only 6. Now, Jason may have selected that lane, maybe because it's not his best lane, but definitely Osku's worse. Osku only had 1 strike on that right lane. Here's Belmo's effort. And Osku needs only 6 to tie, 7 to advance.
But Osku hit the pocket the last 4 shots on that lane. Left some 10 pins, but he looked more lined up on that one.
Belmonte's hopes and dreams of winning his first major are just about over.
Osku moves on. So your 3 seed, Jason Belmonte, eliminated courtesy of the sudden death roll-off. Your number 1 seed, Sean Rash, still alive. Ditto, Palermo and Schaefer, match 2 when we return.